What if one man's words could change the course of a nation forever? Have you heard the story of Abraham Lincoln? Abraham Lincoln was born on February 12, 1809, in a one-room log cabin on the Sinking Spring Farm in Hodgenville, Kentucky. His beginnings were humble and modest. His parents, Thomas Lincoln and Nancy Hanks Lincoln, were frontier people, hardworking, self-reliant, and devout. Thomas was a carpenter and farmer who struggled to provide for his family. Abraham grew up with a sister, Sarah, and later, a younger brother who died in infancy. Life on the frontier was hard. The family moved from Kentucky to Indiana in 1816, seeking better land and opportunities. Tragedy struck early in Lincoln's life when his mother died of milk sickness in 1818, when he was just 9 years old. A year later, his father remarried Sarah Bush Johnston, a widow with 3 children of her own. She became a positive and nurturing influence, treating Abraham as her own. She encouraged his curiosity and love of reading, even when books were scarce. Despite little formal schooling, estimates suggest he had fewer than 12 months of actual classroom education. Lincoln was largely self-taught. He had a powerful hunger for knowledge. He read the Bible, Aesop's fables, Shakespeare, and law books whenever he could get his hands on them. His mind was sharp, logical, and reflective. This hunger for learning would serve as a cornerstone of his rise from rural obscurity to national leadership. As a young adult, Lincoln took on a variety of jobs. He worked as a rail splitter, store clerk, postmaster, and surveyor. Eventually, he turned to law, a field where he would find his voice and reputation. After moving to New Salem, Illinois, and later to Springfield, he began to study law more formally. In 1836, he was admitted to the bar and began practicing as a lawyer. Known for his honesty and clarity, he soon earned the nickname Honest Abe. At the same time, Lincoln developed a passion for public service. He served 4 terms in the Illinois state legislature as a member of the Whig Party, and then a single term in the U.S. House of Representatives from 1847 to 1849. Though his early political career wasn't especially distinguished, it laid the groundwork for something greater. In his personal life, Lincoln found love with Mary Todd, a well-educated woman from a prominent Kentucky family. They were married on November 4, 1842, and would go on to have 4 sons: Robert, Edward, William Willie, and Thomas Tad. Life as a father brought joy, but also sorrow. Only Robert would live to adulthood. The other 3 boys died young, and their losses weighed heavily on both Abraham and Mary. Lincoln's political rebirth came in the 1850s, when the issue of slavery tore the nation's conscience. He emerged as a leader in the newly formed Republican Party, which opposed the expansion of slavery into new territories. In 1858, he famously debated Senator Stephen A. Douglas in a series of public debates that drew national attention. Though Lincoln lost that Senate race, his eloquence, moral clarity, and conviction on human freedom made him a rising star. Then came 1860, the pivotal year. Lincoln was nominated as the Republican candidate for president and went on to win the election in November. On March 4, 1861, he was sworn in as the 16th President of the United States. But the celebration was short-lived. Before he even took office, several Southern states seceded from the Union, and within weeks, the Civil War began. The years that followed tested Lincoln in unimaginable ways. As the nation fractured, Lincoln's leadership was calm, focused, and resolute. He understood the stakes, preserving the Union and ending the moral blight of slavery. With a combination of compassion, strategy, and sheer determination, he guided the country through its darkest hours. One of his most defining moments came on January 1, 1863, when he issued the Emancipation Proclamation, declaring that all slaves in Confederate-held territory were to be set free. While it didn't end slavery overnight, it shifted the purpose of the war and laid the foundation for abolition. Lincoln also gave the nation one of its most iconic speeches, the Gettysburg Address, delivered in November 1863. In just a few short paragraphs, he reaffirmed the nation's ideals of liberty, equality, and democracy, reminding Americans that they were fighting for a government of the people, by the people, for the people. Under Lincoln's leadership, the Union gradually gained the upper hand in the war. He was re-elected in 1864 with a vision to not only win the war, but to heal the nation. He spoke often of malice toward none and charity for all, emphasizing reconciliation over revenge. By April 1865, the Civil War was nearing its end. The Confederate forces surrendered, and Lincoln had succeeded in holding the Union together. He had also helped set in motion the eventual end of slavery through the passage of the 13th Amendment. His presidency had transformed the nation. Tragically, just days after the war ended, Lincoln's life was cut short. On April 14, 1865, while attending a play at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C., he was assassinated. He died the next morning, on April 15th, becoming the first U.S. president to be assassinated. His death sent shockwaves across the country and the world, but Abraham Lincoln's legacy lived on. He is remembered not just as a wartime leader, but as a man of deep principle, humility, and vision. From his rustic beginnings in a Kentucky log cabin to the grand halls of the White House, Lincoln embodied the American ideal that anyone, with courage, honesty, and hard work, could rise to greatness. He remains one of the most beloved and respected presidents in U.S. history, a symbol of unity, freedom, and the enduring strength of democracy. For more information, subscribe.